All right, so in today's video, I'm going to be totally resetting the entire NHL. I will also take control of one lucky franchise and try to win them a Stanley Cup within 7 years. If I do not get it done within 7, I fail the challenge and I will be rebuilding, not exactly rebuilding, but basically building a Stanley Cup champion roster here in the fantasy draft. Now, I am going to take control of the Florida Panthers. So taking a look at the fantasy draft here, we are going to be drafting second overall. San Jose got the #1 pick, so they're probably going to go with Cale Makar or Connor McDavid. And yeah, we got a pretty high draft pick. Buffalo's drafting 3rd, Carolina 4th, Columbus 5th, and Pittsburgh 6th. So maybe Pittsburgh can still get Crosby. Obviously, there might be better players on the board that aren't like 36 years old. So the salary cap is on. Let's go ahead and try to build a Stanley Cup contending roster here in Florida, as the San Jose Sharks are going to take Cale Makar 1st overall, 95 overall offensive D-man. And I mean, I'm probably going to have to go with Connor McDavid in the prime of his career. 26 years old. We still have lots of time left for him at a high overall. I would literally be silly not to pick him, so I am definitely going with him. And now for the 31st pick, who am I going to go with? Pietrangelo is available, although he is 33 years old. I believe he's the highest rated D-man that's still available. Jacob Slavin would be a perfect guy to go after, 5.3 mil cap hit as well, but I feel like he might still be available. I'm going to go after him, screw it. Also going to go ahead and get a starting goalie, Thatcher Demko, still 27 years old, on the same timeline as Connor McDavid, 90 overall. I will very much take that. Although I could go with Jeremy Swayman, who's younger, 87 and 24 years old, but he's got to get re-signed in 1 full season. I don't know who to go after, honestly. I think because of the fact that Demko's already an elite goaltender, 90 overall, and he's got 3 years left on his deal, I'm going to take him in the franchise draft. I was going to say expansion draft for some odd reason. And now there's still some older guys that are available, like Alexander Ovechkin. He's got 3 years left on his deal. I could honestly pick him up. Ovi's probably going to retire. Actually, no, he stays for a little bit in franchise mode. So I'm going to take Alexander Ovechkin. He sims very well in this game, and with Connor McDavid down the middle, at least for 3 years, it should be able to make it work, or I should be able to at least get some production out of him. I think I'm also going to go with Pavel Buchnevich. He's got elite medium potential. He's 28 years old, so he is younger than most of these older guys on the list, and his cap hit's only 5.8 million. I will take him as a left winger. All these old guys are going to be around for a while, so I'm not too worried about picking them up right away. I got to look for the steals here. Like maybe Tomas Hertl, 29-year-old, 86 overall. Vince Dunn would be a good defenseman, although he does make $7.3 million. I am going to be selecting Vince Dunn, though. Sean Couturier, he could be our second-line center. He's got a pretty high cap hit, but he's still only 30 years old. And we are definitely in a win-now mode. I'm trying to win right off the rip here. So the next guy that I'm going to be going after is Mikey Anderson. He's 83 overall, 24 years old, but take a look at his contract. $4.1 million for 8 more seasons. I am going to take that on. He could honestly grow to like an 86, 87 overall. The next guy that I'm going to be going after here is none other than Bruce Jenner. This guy gets up to like an 87, 88 overall, and he's only 30 years old. I mean, that is a little bit older. He's got 3 years left on his deal, but I believe he will be a perfect like 3rd-line centerman. We do need to fill out our D-core because we only have 3 defense right now, so and see who would be the best choice. I'm not going with somebody like Ryan Suter or like a 34, 5, or 6-year-old defenseman. Gavrikov is 83 overall, 27 years old, 2 years left on his deal. I'm going to take him. He's the perfect defenseman that I am looking for. Matt Zuccarello still on the board. He's got 1 year left on his deal at 6 mil. I don't even know if we'd be able to re-sign him. Dmitry Orlov is still on the board, but he's got a 7.7 mil cap hit. Instead, I'm going to go after Max Pacioretty, 84 overall, 34 years old, and he only has 1 year left on his deal. I guess I'll go with Pavel Francouz, 83 overall, 33 years old, 1 year left on his deal at $2 million. Rickard Rakell, 83 overall, 30 years old, making 5 mil for 5 years. I'm going to take that as a winger. Now we have 3 center, 3 left wingers, 1 right winger. I guess that doesn't really matter. 4 defensemen and 2 goaltenders. So, I mean, who is on the board? Ryan Suter will probably be here till the end of time, honestly. A guy like Joe Pavelski will start trailing off. He's got a low cap hit, so honestly, I'll take Pavelski. For 1 season, we'll see if we can compete in year number 1. Well, we are running out of room for cap space. We only have $4 million left, so I'm going to go after Kevin Shattenkirk, 34 overall, 1 year left on his deal. He's an 83 defenseman, so I will go after him. So taking a look here, this is every selection that we made in the fantasy draft. Obviously, we took McDavid first overall, Jacob Slavin, Demko, Ovi, Buchnevich, and so on. So let's go ahead and see what our lines are looking like here in franchise mode. So taking a look at our forward core, on our first line, we have Connor McDavid, Alexander Ovechkin, and Pavel Buchnevich, a +5 on that first line, which is very good. Our second line consists of Pacioretty, Couturier, and Ricard Raquel. Our third line, we have Bruce Jenner, regardless, 84 overall. Pavelski's an 85, and we have Asplund there. And our fourth line, honestly, isn't the greatest. Now, defensively, Jacob Slavin, our #1 defender. We also have Kevin Shattenkirk there, Mikey Anderson, Vince Dunn, and this Graverkopf guy, who's only 27 years old. And we also have Caleb Jones. And in the net, our starting goalie will be Thatcher Demko with Pavel Francouz as our backup. 83 overall backup is not bad. They both have X factors as well. Overall, I do believe I built a pretty solid roster here. Now, are we going to win the Stanley Cup in year #1? Probably not. But I will be hungry to make some moves as we only have 7 years to win a Stanley Cup here in NHL 24. As of course, Connor McDavid will be the captain of our team. Alexander Ovechkin, you will get the A, and Jacob Slavin, another A. All right, so I am going after Neil Pionk at the trade deadline. Right now, we're 34, 26, and 4, so not a terrible record, but I don't believe we're in a playoff spot. I'll trade this Gravikov guy a second, a third, and a first. Let's see if Toronto will accept, and they have. Luckily, Florida did manage to make the playoffs, finishing 4th in the Atlantic, going 43, 32, and 7, 93 points. We have a very good division. Only 2 teams that were not very good. Even Detroit had 80 points on the season. Boston was the best in their division with 51 wins. If we take a look at the entire NHL, they were also the best in the league, winning the President's Trophy. Chicago was very good. Pittsburgh and Ottawa. Connor McDavid is going to have somewhat of a down season. I mean, only 27 goals and 96 points. Max Pacioretty had a 30-goal season and 80 points. Raquel had 72. Pavelski 61. Buchnevich 58, but was a -14. Ovi only had 21 goals on the season. He's probably going to start trailing off, and he's got 3 more years left at $9.1 million. I thought he'd have a good year next to Connor McDavid, but I guess not. And if we take a look at Demko, 34, 24, and 4. 4 shutouts, a .913 save percentage, so he definitely did his job. Artemi Panarin, who was on the Edmonton Oilers, is going to lead the entire NHL in scoring with 110 points. Followed by Austin Matthews, who had 109. Pasta had 106. McKinnon was up there, as well as your mom's Aho, Sebastian Aho. Now, on the goal side, Kachuk is going to lead with 61 on the season, followed by Pasta's 56. Matthews had 52. Tage Thompson had 48 goals and 81 points. And in the first round of the playoffs, we are up against the Pittsburgh Penguins. And unfortunately, we are going to end up losing in Game 6 to the Buffalo Sabres in the conference finals. That is a heartbreaking defeat. God damn, I thought we would end up getting the job done. We were so close in year #1. All right, back to the drawing board. And no surprise, as Buffalo went on and swept the Minnesota Wild in the Stanley Cup Finals. Now, in our very first playoff run, Alexander Ovechkin was honestly our best player. 7 goals, 25 points. McDavid only had 21 and 7 goals. Buchnevich had 10 goals and 19 points. Pacioretty 17, Sean Couturier 17. All right, so taking a look at our contracts, we only have $12 million in cap space. We do got to re-sign Pacioretty, who's up to an 86 now. I would like to get him back unless he's offering for a major deal. He is, though, $7.8 million. We'll come back to that. Regardless, we got to sign Pavelski. I'll probably end up leaving him walk. Shattenkirk's going to want more money. Caleb Jones as well for goaltenders. Francouz needs to be signed. So Pacioretty did decide to re-sign with our team, and Joe Pavelski has rejected. Man, this guy's the cockiest player I've ever come up with. I offered him an extension during the season, and he said, you got to be, or it's got to be a joke if you're asking me to sign for that much money. Some more money could change my mind. Get the hell out of here, you 39-year-old old bum. A guy like Shane Wright would be somebody that I want to go after. He's got 2 years left on his deal. He's already an 86 overall. His trade value is not too crazy. Honestly, I'm very comfortable taking out Sean Couturier for him as he's much younger and his cap hit is lower. If we can make that deal, maybe throw in a second-round pick just to make sure that they actually take the offer. Let's see, Sean Couturier and a second for Shane Wright, and the trade has been accepted. Perfect. All right, my third and final trade, I'm going to try to move Ovi first, a second, and another second for Brad Marchand, who does have 1 year left on his deal, but is making significantly less. and the trade has been accepted here in Tampa Bay. So heading into year number 2, this is what our forward core looks like. We got a 90 Marchand, 98 McDavid, and Buchnevich on that first line. Shane Wright is going to center the second line with Pacioretty and Ricard Raquel. We got Bellows with Jenner and Lemieux on the third line, and our fourth line's not great either. Defensively, if we take a look, we're pretty much the exact same. Although there's a Velin guy is a 70 overall defenseman. I might look in free agency right now to see if I can sign anybody for a low contract. We can't have a 70 overall starting on our D-core. And of course, in net, we still are rocking with a 90 Thatcher Demko. Now, I think I'm going to try to go after Travis Sanheim. He's only 20. No, I do think I'm going to try to go after Travis Sanheim. 7 years left on his deal, 28 years old. He's locked up for a while. I am going to give up Max Pacioretty. We'll see here if we can throw in maybe a third, and we're probably going to have to give a first-round pick, honestly. I am just giving out first-round picks at this point. Pacioretty first and 2 seconds, or a second and a third for Travis Sanheim, who doesn't have a big cap hit at 6.2 mil. And the trade has been accepted. Perfect. So at the end of the year, we are going to lock up second in the Atlantic, going 42, 31, and 9, 93 points. Man, our division is so goddamn tight. We went from like 6th to 1st and then finished at 2nd, all in like 4 or 5 days. Tampa was the best in our division, and for the entire NHL, it will be the Edmonton Oilers, winning 52 games. McDavid's going to have a much better season, 38 goals, 111 points, followed by Marshy's 31 and 79. Buchnevich at 65, Raquel 58, Shane Wright only 46, and he was a minus 19, which is not good. Boone Jenner had 19 goals, 42 points. If we take a look at Demko, 36, 23, and 7, 5 shutouts and a 916 save percentage. I will gladly take that. Matthews going to dominate, leading in goals with 75 and points with 131. He simulates insane in this game. Jason Robertson had 111. McDavid was up there. JT Miller had a good season, as well as Breadman and Clayton Keller. And in the first round of the playoffs, we are up against the Buffalo Sabres, who literally won the Stanley Cup last season, so this should be a very tough matchup in round number 1. Luckily, we did take them down in 7 games, also in overtime in Game 7. Now we are up against the Ottawa Senators in round number 2, and we took care of business in 5 games in the second round. Now we're up against the Penguins in the conference finals, so we are one of the final 4 teams left in the NHL. It has only taken us 2 years to get to the Stanley Cup finals. Obviously, last year we lost in the conference finals, but now we're up against the Chicago Blackhawks, and I mean, our destiny is set. Can we go on and finally capture a Stanley Cup with a team that I built from pretty much nothing through the fantasy draft? And unfortunately, we are going to end up losing in 5 games to the Blackhawks in the Stanley Cup finals. We were so close, yet so far. We were so close to actually getting the job done. Pavel Buchnevich would lead our team, 10 goals and 26 points. McDavid had 25, Marchand 23, Boone Jenner 19. Shane Wright was pretty good. Only 2 goals, but 13 apples for 15 points. And Demko did his job. I mean, a 919 save percentage. I can't complain about that in the playoffs. As Austin Matthews is pretty much going to take home all the awards. The Norris will go to Cale Makar. The Conn Smythe to Ivan Barbashev. Sergei Bobrovsky will win the Vezina, and the Selke will go to Alexander Barkov. All right, so in the offseason here, we do have to re-sign some key pieces of our roster. We have almost $30 million in cap space, so we should be able to get it done. First up is Jacob Slavin, who is only asking for a basically $6 million deal, which I am 100% okay with for 4 years. I thought he was going to offer or ask for a big contract. Buchnevich, 30-year-old, 86 overall. Jacob Slavin has decided to re-sign, as well as Pavel Buchnevich. And Neil Pionk also decided to re-sign with our club. Perfect. We got everybody back that I wanted to re-sign. Now we can go into free agency with, honestly, I think we have a lot of cap space. Let's see here. How much? We have $14 million in cap space. What can we offer Luke Hughes? A $10 million deal. Okay, so we have money to sign pretty much anybody. Jacob Chikrin is actually the best free agent available at an 87 overall, asking for $7 million. Sam Bennett, I don't think we have the draft picks to go after Luke Hughes because he is an RFA. I think I'm going to go after Philip Hronek, 86 overall, offer him a $5.7 million deal for 4 years. He's 27 years old. He's still pretty young. He's a defenseman, which is what we need. Hopefully he does accept that. If not, I can go after maybe a lower guy on the end here. I was going to do Jacob Chikrin, but he's asking for almost $2 million more than Hronek. and he's only 1 overall more and the same exact age. And thankfully, Hronek has accepted our offer. He has joined Florida. I'm also going to be going after Keandre Miller. He's only 25 years old. He's looking for a $6 million deal, but I'll give him 6.7 for 4 years just to make sure he signs here. And we do not have the appropriate draft picks. Okay, it says he's a UFA, not an RFA. Never mind. I guess we'll have to go after somebody else here in free agency. Adam Larson could be a guy we go after, 32-year-old. And luckily, we got Adam Larson signed as well on our D core. So our D has been bolstered for this season, boys. We should be a lot better defensively. Now, taking a look at our roster, our forward core honestly is worse than it was the past at least 3 seasons, especially our third and fourth line. Even our second line isn't as good, but defensively, we have gotten a lot better. We have Slavin, Hronek, Pionk, Travis Sanheim is here, Vince Dunn, and Adam Larson. That is a damn good D-core, probably the best in the entire NHL, and we have a 90 overall goaltender to back it, so we should be able to keep the puck out of the net. Hopefully McDavid can carry us offensively. All right, so I'm going to try to pick up David Perron here. He's an 85 overall. We'll give up a second, Mikey Anderson, and the Sharov guy. Let's see if the Carolina Hurricanes will do it. They have, so we have upgraded our forward core slightly. I'm also going to try to snag Thomas Tatar here, and luckily we have for only, I think it was 2/3 and a 4th round pick. So at the trade deadline, I decided to bolster our offense, picking up an old Sidney Crosby, 38 years old, 89 overall. He can be our second line center. We only had to give up draft picks for him, which was perfect. I believe he also only has 1 year left on his deal, making 4.7 mil. So I put Shane Wright on the wing with McDavid and Buchnevich. We also have Thomas Tatar that is there. Our third line's a little bit better. Defensively, we're very good. Offensively, we're kind of challenged. I mean, our defense should be able to win us some games, at least some games, especially when I move Sanheim on the first line with Slavin. We have a +5, +5, and +3. And unfortunately, we would end up missing the playoffs by only 2 points to the Montreal Canadiens. I mean, the division that we are in is pretty tough. We got a lot of great teams. We went 41, 35, and 6, 88 points. As McDavid's not going to have a great season. Only 37 goals, 87 points in 82 games. Marchand had 70, Crosby 68, Raquel only had 55, Sanheim 53. Yeah, offensively, we are definitely challenged. Defensively, we're okay, but we can't really score much. And Demko had by far his worst season on Florida yet, only a 900 save percentage. As Matthews again is going to dominate, leading in goals with 59 and points with 118. And the San Jose Sharks would end up going on and beating Pittsburgh in 5 games in the Stanley Cup Finals. Matthews again is going to dominate the awards, and Norris will go to Cale Makar. Tomas Hertl will win the Conn Smythe, Logan Thompson the Vezina Trophy, and the Selke will go to Elias Pettersson, now of the Nashville Predators. All right, so here we are in the offseason. We do have $29 million in cap space, but we got to re-sign Connor McDavid, 29 years old, asking for $11.3 million. I will give him that for 6 years. We also got to get back Shane Wright, who hasn't really developed, honestly. He's stuck at an 85 overall. He was an 86 when we picked him up. So I don't know why he hasn't grown any longer, but I will give him a $4.1 million deal. I'm comfortable with that. Boone Jenner, I'm also going to sign to a $4.5 million deal. And also Thatcher Demko needs to be re-signed. Luckily, he only wants $5.3 million. He's down now at an 88 overall. So that's not great. We might have to start looking for a new goaltender to lead us to a Stanley Cup because Demko's getting older, 30 years old now. I don't think he's going to get any better. If anything, he's going to get worse. Thankfully, Crosby has decided to re-sign, as well as Shane Wright and Thatcher Demko. McDavid re-signed, Boone Jenner re-signed, and we don't have any cap space for David Perron, which is okay. I'm comfortable with that. Yeah, we only have 3.9 mil to spend in free agency, so I might get like a 3rd or 4th line guy. Oh, again, taking a look at our forward core, it is honestly not great. I am going to throw Shane Wright on the first line. Hopefully, that can get him to develop and put up more points. Crosby will center the second line with Marshy and Raquel. Boone Jenner is our 3rd line center. Thomas Tatar is down at a 79. Our forward core is looking pretty rough. Luckily, defensively, we're still very good. Sanheim up to an 87. Hronek's an 86, Vince Dunn's an 85, along with Adam Larson, and Thatcher Demko now is an 88 overall. There's probably no way that this is going to go through, but Jake Ottinger is on the trading block. I'm going to give up Demko and 3 firsts. Let's see if we can get him. Trade rejected. Quite far off in value. I don't know what else I could give them, considering they don't have a lot of cap space. And somehow I have pulled the deal off. We threw in a player in Neil Pionk, and we also got Philip Hertl back, I believe, and we picked up Jake Ottinger. He's our new starting goalie. Obviously, we're doing okay, 32, 26, and 3. But now we have significantly upgraded in goalie with Jake Ottinger, 94 overall. The only problem is he's only got a 905 save percentage, but he does. His contract is up. at the end of the season, he's going to want a big raise, and honestly, I'm okay giving him that. Thankfully, we are going to end up making the playoffs as we went 43, 35, and 4, 90 points on the season. Who won the President's Trophy? The New York Rangers, who we are matched up with in round number 1. Damn, that is going to be a very tough matchup. Connor McDavid is only going to score 38 goals and 99 points. He was a minus 13 as well. That's honestly not great. Shane Wright had 63 points, Raquel 58, Buchnevich 55. Yeah, we need to pick up a stud in the offseason to bolster our offense. We don't score a lot of goals, but now that we have Jake Ottinger, who went 28, 37, and 5, 1 shutout. So most of these stats, honestly, were from his time on the St. Louis Blues, who were not a good team. They are also selling Rope Hintz, I believe. He had a 305 GAA, so next year will be the deciding factor in whether or not Jake Ottinger is actually going to perform to a 94 overall goaltender. Jason Robertson's going to lead the NHL in scoring with 110 points, and for goals, it'll be none other than Austin Matthews, who had 54. Also, shout out Arthur Trotter, who had 53 at 21 years old. And of course, here is our playoff bracket. We are up against the President's Trophy winning New York Rangers. Somehow, we actually beat the Rangers in Game 7 to advance to the second round, and we are up against the Flyers, who I don't know if they have a great team, but I mean, they won a playoff series, so they're here. We cannot underestimate them. And we would end up losing to the eventual Stanley Cup winning Philadelphia Flyers as they swept San Jose in the Stanley Cup Finals. Jason Robertson is going to take on the Ted Lindsay, Art Ross, and Hart Trophy. Matthews, the Maurice Richard, the Norris, the Cale Makar. Evgeny Malkin is going to win the Conn Smythe for Philly. Askarov will win the Vezina, and the Selke will go to Nico Hischier. Luckily, we did get everybody re-signed that has their contract up here in the re-sign phase. Now it's time to free agency, or time to go to free agency, as we are going to be looking for a big gun here. I think we should have some cap space available, hopefully. I mean, we had 30 mil, and I spent a lot re-signing the players. We do have $20 million in cap space. How much can we offer? Okay, we have tons of money. With the thing we don't have is draft picks, so we got to go to UFAs. And there you have it, boys. I have offered Barrett Hayton a $12 million contract. He obviously accepted it, and he's now the newest member of the Florida Panthers. He's a 91 overall centerman. I couldn't pass on that. And Igor Sharangovich has decided to go with a different team. That's tough. How much cap space do we have available? A guy like Alex Turcotte could be somebody that we... Okay, never mind. We don't have any cap space available, even though it says 7.7. Again, EA Sports is trolling. All right, so here we are in season number 5. Our first line is absolutely stacked. I am going to bring Shane Wright on the second line, have Crosby on the first line. Actually, I might throw Ricard Raquel up there. Then we get a +1 and +2 on the top 2 lines. What does this do? +3, Buchnevich, McDavid, and Barrett Hayton on that first line. Raquel, Wright, and Crosby. Obviously, our third and fourth lines are not great defensively. We are still pretty loaded. I mean, we got Vince Dunn, Jacob Slavin's down to an 86. Obviously, that is not great, but I am going to throw Sanheim and Slavin as our top line D pair. Adam Larson is all the way down at an 80. And in goal, we might have the highest rated goalie in the game in Jake Ottinger, 93 overall, still 28 years old. Hopefully, he does simulate well. All right, so we didn't have that great of a regular season. We actually ended up missing the playoffs. Only 85 points as we went 42, 39, and 1. Connor McDavid had, I guess, an okay season. 43 goals, 113 points. Barrett Hayton only hit 76. I'm paying you $12 million at a 91 overall, and you're only putting up 76 points. That's crazy. Buchnevich had 60. Raquel, 57. Shane Wright, only 56. And Jake Ottinger went 37, 34. 3 shutouts, only a 903 save percentage. As Sebastian Aho is going to tie with Artemi Panarin for the most points in the NHL at 115. Tage Thompson had a big season himself. We take a look at the goal side. Pasternak is going to lead with 54. Tage Thompson at 53. Matthews 52. And the Buffalo Sabres are going to go on and win the Stanley Cup as they dominate LA in 5 games in the finals. Tage Thompson is going to take home the Ted Lindsay and the Hart Trophy. The Art Ross to Aho and Maurice Richard to Pasta. Noah Dobson is going to win the Norris. The Conn Smythe will go to Matthews. Connor Limbaum is going to win the Vezina, and the Selke will go to Connor McDavid of the Florida Panthers. I definitely did not expect that. All right, so luckily for us, we didn't have to re-sign anybody in the re-sign phase. Here we are in free agency. We have $15 million in cap space, so a lot of room. Realistically, it's only $7 million that we can offer to any player. And Texier has decided to accept our offer and sign with the Florida Panthers. All right, I am going to make a big splash here in the offseason. Matthews for McDavid straight up. Let's see if Buffalo does it. Trade rejected. Okay, we got to sweeten the deal a little bit here. And my thought process for this is Matthews honestly simulates way better than McDavid in this game. McDavid has been having a very tough time producing offense on Florida, so we'll give up 2 first-round picks for Austin Matthews, and the trade has been accepted. So let's take a look at our new lineup here. Matthews, 96 overall down the middle with Shane Wright and Barrett Hayton. Honestly, I want to throw one of these guys on the second line. I think Shane Wright, you can be the second line center. Buchnevich, he's only an 85, but I guess I'll throw him on the first line. Obviously, our third and fourth line. We're still very offensively challenged. Hopefully, Matthews can carry the load. Pause. Offensively, we're still very good with Sanheim, Hronek, Adam Larson's kind of washed, Vince Dunn's an 85, and Slavin is washed as well. And in goal, Jake Ottinger is still a 92 overall, 29 years of age, so it doesn't look like he's going to get any better. All right, we are going to sell here at the deadline. Miro Heiskanen, 1 year left. I will re-sign him in the offseason. He's making significantly less than Barrett Hayton, 1-for-1 deal. Let's see if Vegas will accept it. Trade rejected? Okay. I might throw in a second or a first. Probably not a first-round pick, but I'll throw in a second. 2 seconds with Barrett Hayton. Let's see. And the Vegas Golden Knights have accepted my offer. Barrett Hayton has 7 goals this season, and we are not performing well at all. We would end up finishing the season with a record of 26, 47, and 9, dead last in the Atlantic, just like the Titanic. And that is a very poor regular season. Hopefully, we can turn that around. Matthews did do his thing. I mean, 57 goals and 101 points. Nobody else on our team for goals-wise even scored 20. Yeah, offensively, we need to do something with our offense. We don't have any offense. 55 points from Heiskanen. He didn't even play the whole season. Shane Wright, 51. Buchnevich, 50. Texier, 44. Jake Ottinger was not very good. Didn't even crack a 900 save percentage. As the New York Rangers will go on and beat the Arizona Coyotes in 5 games in the Stanley Cup Finals. Pasternak is going to take home all the awards. The Norris again to Cale Makar. The Conn Smythe to Tage Thompson. Harabel will win the Vezina, and the Selke will go to Lundell. All right, we are going to have to face free agency with Miro Heiskanen and Philip Hronek. They both rejected multiple contract offers. Heiskanen said he wants to test free agency, and Hronek was not happy with where the team was last year. I mean, that's understandable, but still, we got to at least get one of these guys back. We get tons of cap space, $45 million. Jacob Trouba has accepted our offer, which is good. Keandre Miller has accepted. Urov has accepted. Kuat has not. He's rejected. Bergeron went to Nashville also. Miro Heiskanen has accepted our offer. So here we are in our final season. On our first line, we have Urov, Matthews, and Texier, 87, 96, and 85. Shane Wright will be our second line center. Our third and fourth lines aren't very good, so we're not getting a lot of offense there. We have Vince Dunn, Miro Heiskanen, Keandre Miller, Sanheim's down at an 84. A lot of these guys were higher overalls, but defensively, we don't really have much of an issue. Hopefully Jake Ottinger can save the puck this season. He's a 91, so I'm expecting like a 910 save percentage. All right, here we are at the deadline. I'm going after Thomas Novak. We don't have a great record, so this is probably my last big splash that I will do. Keandre Miller, and we will give up 2 first-round picks, the only first-round picks we have for Thomas Novak. There we go. Hopefully that can push us into a playoff spot here. So yet again, sadly, we missed the playoffs in our final season as we went 36, 38, and 8, 80 points on the year. As Matthews did do his thing, 52 goals, 112 points. Shane Wright had 84. That's a career high. Novak, 62. We only picked him up at the deadline. Buchnevich, 58. Texier, 57. Yeah, we really had trouble scoring basically this entire video. We were always good defensively, but offensively, we were challenged. Jake Ottinger, a 908 save percentage, I guess I can live with. I would have liked it to be a little bit better, but David Pasternak is going to lead the NHL in goals with 64, and for points, it will go to Jason Robertson, who had 121. And the New York Rangers would end up going on and beating the Oilers in 7 games to capture the Stanley Cup. And that is going to do it for this video, boys. If you enjoyed it, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Also, turn on notifications so you get notified when I go live or post a video. And there you go. I reset the entire NHL and tried to build a Stanley Cup contender within 7 years, and I failed the challenge. I mean, we got close. We made the finals 1 year, the conference finals another season. As we went on, we started getting worse and worse season after season, so that was expected to happen. We didn't get the job done. That's okay. Let me know in the comments below what you would like to see next. Thank you all for watching, and until next time, don't be silly. Wrap your willy.